Hey, it's Kesha. Welcome back. So, abundance, wealth, prosperity, and money. What is the difference? Why do we talk about them and use different words when we talk about this stuff in metaphysics? And why am I bringing you this video? Well, look, what is abundance? Oh, it's all the big things, right? It's all the whenever we say the word abundance, and I want to talk about these words not from their Webster's definitions, because we don't think about these words in terms of Webster's, right? We're not thinking about them like what the actual words mean in their literal sense. It's the feeling and the ideas that come to mind when we hear these words spoken in metaphysical context, whether you're reading about, you see a title, How to Have Greater Abundance, or How to Live Life More Abundantly, right? 40 Days to Greater Prosperity. It's like these words have an association, and I want us to think for a minute and recognize how they're each slightly different and what that's telling us about ourselves. So I just want you to take a minute and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Another deep breath in and out. Just feel your mind settle. Your thoughts settle. Release any cares and concerns. Just become more present. Ask that your mind and your body, spirit be present in this moment. Feel the love and light of the universe surrounding you. Breathe that in. With your heart open and your mind open, gently open your eyes. Okay. So, when I say the word abundance, what comes to mind? Right? It's big yellow and pink bubbles and balloons. It's like, oh, this good feeling, all these good things, right? It's like everything is gold tinged and you might be surrounded by gold, and there seems to be plenty of everything, and everything is airy and light and easy, right? That's abundance. Just feel that. I want to feel abundant, and just breathe that in. And how does it feel? What does that feel like for you? Right? And now think about the word wealth, right? Suddenly the energy is a little bit darker in color, right? It's more green and brown. It's more earthy. Certainly the energy becomes more structured and linear. It's not these big round bubbles. The energy is, like I said, more linear and structured. We think of things stacking, right? Well, stacking over time, So there's a more physical presence. It seems very big and it's weighty. It seems very substantial, right? When I say the word wealth, it's kind of gray and steely, right? So if abundance was maybe gold, gold flakes floating in the air, wealth has a more titanium, steel, silver weight about it, right? Okay. So just breathe that in and see how it feels. I am wealthy. Right? You just feel like this, right? Like there's some substance there. And now think about the word prosperous and prosperity. Oh, prosperity. So with prosperity, it feels like a green meadow, right? Like it's light, it's green, it's fresh, right? Feels everywhere, feels immediately present wherever you are, right? So where you would turn your attention to if you want that thing, if you turn your attention to this activity, prosperity, it seems like everything kind of marshals to it, right? Like it doesn't matter what's happening over here, where you've turned your attention, that's where it's prosperous and that's where it's gathered, right? But again, it's like, it's very green, it's very fresh, right? And has this feeling of immediacy about it, or freshness, in that it just came together, right? So breathe that in. Ooh, I am prosperous. All right. So now let's think about money. What comes to mind when I say the word money? What kind of energy do you feel about that? What resonates? So what I get is something practical, right? It's I feel like it's the street. It's the actual road we travel on, right? It's it feel like, when I say the word money, it feels like transaction, right? Yeah, transaction, movement, the rubber meeting the road, like the actual thing. Nothing mysterious, airy-fairy about it. You either have it or you don't. It's there, or it's not. It's either movement or stagnation. Not a particular color necessarily. Seems kind of clear in a way. Nothing. It's just, yeah, the color is just, it does feel more clear. Maybe like there's a little bit of, blue gray about it, but yeah, but you can tell that it's wholesale. It's different, right, from abundance with its pinks and its yellows and peaches, right? And it's different still from wealth, that hardness, that that dark green, like that substance, like that feeling. Different still from prosperity. It's not that freshness, right? It's money. It's just like, it's gray, it's cut and dry, it's it's clear, it's a transaction, right? So now that you've felt the difference in those 4 words, I want you to think about all the times that you've done, like you clicked on a video or gone to a seminar, and it was like, again, how to live an abundant life, how to attract prosperity in 40 days, right? And think back to, okay, you watched the video, you did the seminar, and did anything change? Like, it felt good in the moment when you're watching the video. It resonated, made you feel differently. It felt like maybe even if it's a really good video and you watch to the end, like you got, it maybe recalibrated you a little bit, gave you another a point of awareness to work from, right? But no wholesale change in the bank account, right? Though you might have watched something on attracting prosperity, and maybe manifested concert tickets or a nice dinner or something. Something did happen, right? But it wasn't it wasn't movement to a whole new state of existence. It was just like that one good thing happened, right? So one of the things I think that's happening is that we when we sit down to watch these videos, to go to these seminars and buy these books, we don't recognize the difference between what we're asking for, right? So if I go back to, I am abundance, I allow abundance into my life. Well, yeah, that sounds great. That feels good. And that's great. Like we need to have that about us. But Can you see how that airy-fairy yellow and peach bubbles is not money in the bank? Because it's out here and it's you know, it's in the ethers, and you know, it's the woo-woo, right? Oftentimes when we're clicking on the videos, we're buying the books, we're going to the seminar, we're not looking for greater abundance. We want to know how to have more money. We want more money, but we're afraid to say money because of all the negative associations that are tied up with, well, with money, right? And if you think about filthy lucre, right? Money's dirty. All the negative idioms that we have related to money. So when we step into this metaphysical space, well, we don't want to bring any of that because we're better than that. So we'll talk about abundance, and we'll talk about prosperity, and we'll talk about wealth, maybe. But I say, and I submit to you that the reason that you may not be seeing success, sustained success in your efforts in growing your prosperity consciousness, it's because what you truly want is more money, but you won't allow yourself to ask for that. And the information that's put out doesn't speak to that because it doesn't sound good, because of all the negative associations that people have around money. Right? So I say, ask for the thing that you want. If you want more money, then your affirmations need to be geared around money. If you have trouble writing affirmations and asking for money from the universe, then that is where your work lies, right? The question becomes, okay, so what? So if negative associations come up when I say ask for money, then you need to ask yourself, what are those negative associations? Where are they coming from? Why are they there? What are they trying to tell me? Where do they come from? Is that true? Is it real? Is that true? Is that real? Really? Is that how I think? Like, you have to dig into it and excavate it to resolve it, to unearth it and to get it out of your consciousness. I spend a lot of time on idioms, especially those around money. So I think maybe I'll put them together in a separate video because I don't want us to get too far off topic here. But yeah, like if you have trouble asking for exactly what it is you want, then you need to ask yourself why. Because the fact that you want it means that you don't have it, but you want to experience it. And that if you want to experience it, then it's possible for you. But it's not possible while you are in resistance to it. And the way to overcome that resistance is to ask, well, why do you feel that way? You know, what is it about it that makes you think that? And is that real? Is that true? Right? And as you begin to delve into that, then, those thoughts get plucked out. And money, the thing that you're actually concentrating on, because the thing, what you focus on expands. The money that you're asking to come to you can now get to you because you've created a space for it. There's a way for it to come in because it's not blocked by all of these errant and competing beliefs. And so the other thing to consider in this conversation is, if I spend all of my time and my metaphysical energy, my spiritual energy, trying to, cultivate abundance, but I'm not willing to look at my ideas on the dirtiness and the evil of money. Like the root of all, money is the root of all evil. No, it's the love of money. Anyway, we'll come back to that in the video on idioms. But so if you're trying to cultivate, if you're spending your time and your energy cultivating abundance, but you have these hard ideas about money being dirty and evil, then abundance may come to you, but it might not be in the form of money. And it might not be in the fullness of all that abundance could be, right? So I hope this is making sense. And I wish there was I'm trusting that it is, because these are the words of Spirit, and it makes sense to me. And I'm hoping you can follow along. Yeah, and I trust that you are. Your ability to manifest greater abundance will be limited by your hard feelings and negative associations that you have with money. If you consider money to be dirty and evil, then that's in direct contrast to the beauty and lightness that is abundance. And so if you were to get abundance holding that idea of money being dirty and evil, then rather than you being in the side of light, it comes through as a muddy construct and muddy results, right? And so that's not helpful. That's not worthwhile. Especially if the poster looks all bright and lovely, if the cover of the book is promising you something magnificent, right? You're not going to feel like you got what you paid for. You're not going to feel like this shit works. But they don't tell you that it doesn't work because of these underlying issues, right? And the misalignment of what you're asking for and what you truly want. And the same is true of wealth. If we're not feeling comfortable with the idea of money, how the hell are you going to have wealth? I mean, why would your higher self allow you to have an overabundance of something that you think that you inherently think is that you inherently think is evil or dirty? It would keep you from it at all costs, because that's not to your greatest benefit. So until you again resolve your issues about how you feel about money, about cash, about, right, the rubber meeting the road, the actual thing, the thing that moves you from one thing to another, the actual transaction, right, the ability to transact, until you can become comfortable with that, then to talk about wealth is ridiculous. To read another book on prosperity is a waste of time, right? Unless it encourages you to confront and clean up your ideas about money. And the same is true for prosperity. Prosperity, being able to remember that fresh feeling that it was meeting us where we are, the ability to be, do, and have whatever it is that's of our choosing, right? And notice too, like, people will say, oh, but you can be prosperous in so many things. I'm prosperous in my time. Yeah, well, is it more time that you want, or is it more money? And there's nothing wrong with wanting more time. And there may be times when you want more time than money. But again, this is where you need to be discerning. You need to pay attention to where your thoughts go and how you try to language yourself around something. If somebody says, I'll use that as an example. If somebody says, "Oh, I'm not worried about prosperity in terms of money because I'm prosperous in so many other things." Well, okay, great, but why wouldn't you want to also be prosperous in your money? because that makes all these other things possible without having to do these, mental and spiritual gymnastics. What's important there is to pay attention to the way you're trying to get around this more obvious acknowledgement. Because when you recognize that you're doing that, then you'll know, oh, that's what I need to focus on. That's what I need to clean up. And once you do, once you begin to turn your focus to that, it's going to show up everywhere in everything. And as long as you can stay with it and stay with the lessons and be on board with, accepting what they have to reveal to you, then those erroneous thoughts will be replaced with new insight and new information, and you will see progress. Sometimes I think in metaphysics they make it too hard. It really is simple. And because it's simple, and because the work is within us, we don't think that could possibly be it. Really, it's that simple? Well, yeah, it is. But there's more money to be made, of course, if I tell you that it's hard and, you can need 7 steps, and let me buy my book and do my program, and I'll teach you all 7 steps. And I say this as, someone who creates content that wants your attention. I want to give you the tools that you can be your own teacher in these things. And so that you're not wasting time and energy on the things that don't work, getting frustrated and thinking that it doesn't work, or worse, that you somehow it didn't work for you because you couldn't make it work, because you failed at it somehow. No, it really is that simple. But it requires that you do the work. And it's not necessarily about buying another book, unless the book is telling you what I'm just telling you now. So, we'll come back with another video on idioms and how to get those out of your consciousness and replace them with things that are more beneficial and helpful to you. And I'd be curious, leave me the notes in the comments about what were your impressions, what descriptions that you came up with for abundance, wealth, prosperity, and money, and how those were, if they were different, and what they looked like for you, or if they differed from the descriptions that I gave. I'd be curious to see what those look like. All right, until my next one, my loves, I will see you soon and love you in the meantime. Bye.